1 second, you're in a sports car, speeding 150 miles per hour. Then, these are the football players that almost died. And for Cristiano Ronaldo, just a few days after getting his dream car, an accident changed his life forever. It was January 8th, 2008, an unusual morning for Ronaldo, because his team had just suffered an unexpected defeat last night, so the coach had called them for an early practice. And the Man United players, they were expecting him to be there, but he was nowhere to be found. See, Ronaldo had overslept, and eventually, he did wake up, but it was too late. Now, all of you know, Ronaldo takes his training seriously, so not joining the practice session, that was not an option. But there was a problem. He had just a few minutes to get all the way to the training facility, and he only got one special car in his garage that could have made it in time. But little did he know, getting in that car would be the biggest mistake of his life. Damn, man. The Old Trafford's beloved number 7 was crawling out of a Ferrari, which was completely totaled, and it seemed he was done. But life was kind on him that day, and he walked away without a single scratch on his body. It was a miracle. But the thing to talk about is, Cristiano did not miss the training session even on that day, and this dedication helped him become the greatest soccer player to ever touch a football field. But unluckily for Lionel Messi, him trying to prove himself the GOAT nearly cost him his life. Back in 2017, Messi faced one of the biggest challenges of his career. Barcelona was set to take on Juventus in a highly anticipated Champions League quarterfinal, because Juventus had already dominated the first leg with a crushing 3-0 victory, so the stakes couldn't have been higher. For Messi, this was do or die. So as soon as Messi stepped onto the field, he was prepared for anything, or that's what he thought. The first half was a tough one, with both teams desperately pushing forward to get to Champions League semifinals and write their legacy into football history. But none of them were able to score a single goal. Then, just before halftime, Messi desperately pushed forward, but that nearly cost him everything. See, Messi was on the verge of losing more than just the game out there. Later on, doctors revealed that if Messi had landed just 2 millimeters higher, that neck injury could have killed him. Although Barcelona lost the game that day, but Messi, he walked away with his life. But see, most of the tragedies happen off the field, like the one that almost ended Matheus Silva's life. Yeah. It was the 3rd of July, 2017, a day before the Independence Day. So Silva and some of his friends, they were boosted. I mean, they wanted to do something crazy, and finally, they decided let's drive to Lake Tahoe and enjoy the beach a little bit. But it was the 4th, and they already knew the beach would be jam-packed, and they even had a game later that day. So they planned to reach out there a bit early, around 6 a.m. or so, but they had no idea what was coming. Yeah. See, that next morning, the boys piled into a car with music blasting and the vibes high. You already know how the boys go on their road trips. So as soon as they reached the beach, Silva, he couldn't hold himself back. The sand, the water, it was kind of beautiful. I mean, he felt like a little kid again. And without any second thought, he ran to the lake and dove in like Michael Phelps out there. So the boys watched him swim all the way out to the hazard signs. But that's when it happened. out of nowhere, Silva started screaming for help. At first, the boys thought he was joking, but then he went under. They ran to the lake and dove in after him, but by the time they reached, it was too late. Silva wasn't breathing, and he had no pulse, so they had no choice but to drag him to the shore. Luckily, a lifeguard sprinted over to rescue and tried CPR, but nothing. They had no choice.
911, what's your emergency?
2 days later, Silva woke up, but he was dazed, confused. It later turned out that when he jumped into that lake, the water was freezing cold. But out of excitement, he couldn't realize that. The freezing temperature shocked his body, which caused his heart to stop. But Silva, he was lucky. His friends were there to rescue him, and they literally gave him another life. When the news broke that Silva would recover, his teammate Chris Wondolowski paid tribute in the way footballers do. He wore Silva's number 38 in their next game and even scored a goal that night. For Silva, almost drowning to death, that's something you can't forget your whole life. But almost losing your life before your first birthday, that's what happened to Neymar in 1992, and it scarred him for life. Literally. See, when Neymar was only 4 months old, his parents along with him were driving to visit some relatives. But that's when things turned really, really bad. They were driving up the mountains in a good mood, but out of nowhere, a heavy storm hit them. And it wasn't just a simple rain that comes and goes. The weather was so bad, they couldn't even see what was in front of them. And then the car got into an accident, and Neymar's dad, he was hurt bad, but he still remembers the details like it happened yesterday. He said, "A car came towards me. I tried to swerve, but it hit us full on my door side. My left leg landed on top of the other, dislocating my hip bone. I was desperate and said to my wife, 'I'm dying.' But my worst fear beyond the pain was the scary thought that followed. Where was Junior?" See, their car was hit so hard that Neymar literally disappeared, and the family, they couldn't figure out where did he go. They looked for him everywhere, inside the car, outside the car, on the roadside, but he was nowhere to be found until the rescue team arrived. And they found Junior stuck under the driver's seat, covered in blood. Neymar's head was cut from a piece of glass, so the rescue teams rushed them all to the nearby hospital. Neymar came so close to death at such a young age, and when doctors told Neymar's dad that his son was out of danger, his belief in God became even stronger, and from that point on, he knew that Neymar was blessed.